this is recording now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you don't realise this has just taken us about 2 hours to sell.
2 hours is a bit extreme. We aren't out of the kicks, figuring it all out.
It's maybe the best conversation of my life.
I'm now at the point of being here and realising that is this a good idea?
I don't know.
Is this just a boring idea? Is this generic now?
I don't
Because
know.
it does seem like everyone's doing this all of a sudden.
I do think everyone is.
I think it's partially because there's a fear of AI and stuff taking everyone's jobs. And there's that new thing of being what's the word? Come on, you know.
Confidence and charisma coach.
You're going to have to explain that now.
Well, AI can't be a confidence and charisma.
No, where we saw it.
Yeah, I know, on Married at First Sight, Australia.
Yeah. No, we were watching TV and we realised that you can have a job doing anything if you really try hard enough.
Create a title. Yeah. I'm going to be an energy and enthusiasm coach. Or maybe I already am, you know?
Oh my God, if you was, we would not be together. If you believed in those stone stuff.
Like the crystals.
Yeah. I don't think.
Well, I was charging my crystals on the windowsill.
Oh my God, no, I can't handle that.
No offence to people who charge crystals.
No offence. I'm going to say offence. That was stupid. I'm not here to make friends. But if you're a gemstone shop that wants to sponsor us,
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we're very ahead of ourselves. It's very there. Anyway, I guess you should say hello.
Hello. My name's...
No. We got to do the... You got to say... Well, you can do it if you want. You can say it fully. You got to say the name of the show.
Hello, and welcome to A Him and a Her.
Him and a her. I'm a him.
And I'm a her. Just making the pronouns very clear from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, if you ever get confused. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically a show where we just natter and chit chat.
Yeah.
Talk about our differing opinions as a him and a her on certain topics.
We basically think that our conversations are extremely entertaining.
Yeah, no one else will find it.
However, we're in love, so that's probably why.
Whoa. We're in love? But I don't own a Lamborghini. And I'm not shredded.
You're trying to link into the standards conversation?
No, what about the Manosphere?
The Manosphere.
Because we watched the...
We did watch. Everyone has watched.
Yeah, it was mad.
The Manosphere.
You got very triggered by it, didn't you?
I wouldn't say triggered. I mean, I did fall asleep, which is probably actually a win for the gals, because I...
Found it that boring.
Got so sick of them, I just actually fell asleep.
Yeah, you do fall asleep at anything, though.
But also, I then did rewatch the bit that I fell asleep to.
How did you come out watching that?
I think the thing is the guys who are on that, they know that what they're saying and doing is actually wrong, which is why they're so protective of it. But more to the point, the people who are watching them don't necessarily realise that maybe they're not believing what they're actually saying. They're just doing it for rage bait. And the 13-year-old boys that are watching him think he's actually genuinely being serious, and that's where it becomes a bit of an issue.
Well, that's because it's that bit where he gets surprised. He's like, no, my viewers aren't 15.
But they all are. And everyone that was playing in the street was under the age of 18.
Yeah.
And that's the issue, because he actually is just doing basically what Bonnie Blue's doing and rage baiting, but from a different male perspective.
And he just hates on Bonnie Blue.
And therefore hates on Bonnie Blue because she's a female doing exactly what he's doing. And also he probably hates seeing what he's doing in other people because he knows what he's doing is wrong.
Yeah. Have you seen the stuff of, the guy who has the podcast in Miami?
No, yeah, Angie's ex-boyfriend.
Who was this?
Angie's girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, they're broken up.
Yeah, no, she's done a whole tell-all thing about it.
Yeah.
And how she had to go to therapy and she didn't realise it. She had to sign some kind of disclaimer thing for Netflix, but she didn't realise what she was actually getting herself into.
Yeah.
But I think Angie slayed, to be honest, because she made him uncomfortable and it was quite good.
It was funny. That bit was so funny when it came. It's how tough they act and then how shy he got when he's like, oh my God, oh no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that thing, that whole thing, I love watching that thing over and over again where HS Tiki Toki's talking to the camera and Lisa Ru goes, you talking to?
Oh, that's hilarious. Not talk to you.
Oh, I'm talking to the camera.
Oh no, it's Dr. Henry's sort of YouTube video.
Talk to me. We're just having a conversation. He's like, oh, sorry.
So funny. I've struggled to understand how someone looks at that man and goes that he's attractive.
Well, I just don't think they do. I think there's an element of like that. He's like so overly confident. Sometimes women find that attractive, regardless of what they're actually being confident about.
There is that thing where growing up though, like as a man, like you feel like you're not, it's good to be like that confident and stuff.
Mm.
And there was people back when it's a big thing now.
Yeah.
But there's people when I was growing up that you'd see like Dan Bilzerian was one.
Yeah.
Do you know Dan Bilzerian? There's clips of him in it.
Oh, right.
And he's like his toxic man. And I remember when at school, all of us, even when we were that age, were like, "Oh, Dan Bilzerian guy's so cool." And he's like surrounded by women and shooting guns. And then you grow up and you realise that he's actually just a sad soul.
Well, the thing is actually a lot of these guys are insecure and they're not confident at all.
No.
And it's they're like sort of compensating for their insecurity by behaving in this way. Whereas actually secure men are the complete opposite of that. And in my opinion, and hopefully most women's opinion, much more attractive.
Yeah.
But it's just, unfortunately, they're just a product of society and the way that everyone wants to make money and being an influencer, and however you get your views or popularity, whether it's because of negative or positive attention, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. The one guy out of all of it, the American fella who always wears a suit, he actually generally seemed like the only person who actually fully believed in what he was saying. The rest of them gave the energy that they all just do it for money and just like...
Yeah, well, that's why they're so contradictory with their behaviour.
Yeah.
Whereas at least that guy in the suit, the nice man, is sort of vaguely... the way he's behaving kind of makes sense and isn't... I don't know.
He seemed the most...
It doesn't make sense. That's wrong thing to say.
Yeah, he stuck... Yeah, I still don't agree with anything he's saying, but he kind of stuck... He was following what he was saying.
Yeah.
As other ones were like Tiki Toki fella was, shitting on women for sleeping with loads of guys, and then he would loads of girls and showing off about it.
Can I also just say, as a side note, his TikTok name is the least Manosphere TikTok name. Like, you would expect it to be like, I don't know, just his name maybe, but why? HS Tiki Toki sounds like it should be said in like a baby voice. HS Tiki Toki, like
there's a clip for the internet.
Where it's just like, well, that is the main thing that blows my mind. All these like men who are like thinking they're really masculine and like, are watching HS Tiki Toki.
Yeah, the name is shocking. Someone at work was saying that as well.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
It's
like he looked at that and that's a cool name, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like something like your mum would like decide to create as a word instead of saying TikTok should go around going, oh, all the young people are obsessed with that Tiki Toki thing. I
love that.
It's just like, and that's actually bothered me more that this guy is like famous in the Manosphere, but his handle is HS Tiki Toki.
Here's a question for you: if you were to create a woman's sphere on the internet, what would your TikTok name be?
AS Tiki Toki. Of course,
yeah. No, it's clearly...
It would be the first thing that would spring to my mind. Yeah. Clearly it was for HF.
It worked for him, and it can work for you.
Yeah. Not much thought went into it at all.
We've really gone sidetracked.
Yeah, we really have. Yeah. That's why I said it was a side note about his handle.
His name.
It's actually a whole conversation, maybe.
No. We could have a whole episode just talking about that show, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone's probably sick of hearing about it now.
Yeah, but I've loved the music coming out of it, of like men being like so against it.
Yeah, it's nice to see that,
because like it showed like a clip of these lads like shitting on people for being, thingy, and then he's like in his bed being cooled by his girlfriend, and he has a nice life and he's really happy and stuff. I'm like, that's what you should have. Yeah. That's what men should aspire to have, as a lovely home and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So bizarre.
It is very bizarre.
Anyway, what we were meant to talk about is us first.
Yeah.
Kind of this episode is a way to introduce ourselves to all 0 people who are going to watch this.
Yeah, it's true.
And
introduce ourselves to our mums.
Have we even said our names?
No, because I was when you said you introduced it, I was about to say and then you said no, the name of the show. So we just
Oh, should we try that again?
I'm not actually called a her. I do have a name. My name is Annabelle,
My name's Joe.
and yeah,
That's it.
that's it. There we go.
No, so we met on Hinge,
We did.
which part of me dies inside saying,
Yeah, but actually, I quite like it because I'm now that annoying person that I used to hate when I was single, who would be like, "Give the dating apps a chance. Like,
"Oh my god, it
if
was
you
the
keep
worst."
persevering with them,
Yeah.
you'll find the love of your life."
Well, this is the thing. So I've always hated dating apps. I think in a way this kind of goes back to the manosphere in a way is men, because men don't find as much success on these things as women do.
No.
You know, if you made an account right now and I made an account, I'd maybe get 10 likes and you'd probably get 100 within the hour.
Yeah.
It's the lack of affection and attention kind of thing.
I think so.
So it used to really bother me because I've always been an in-person fella. I feel like I've always done well talking to girls if I meet them in person.
Yeah.
That never really happens because I am terrified of women, and I'm too scared to approach one in public. But dating apps just didn't work in that sense.
Yeah.
Because it is, even though Hinge tries to look like the nice one where it's not about appearances, it's always going to be about appearances, no matter how hard you try.
Yeah. Well, it kind of is, and it isn't. But I think that's why maybe there's the whole thing where women get like a lot of likes very quickly and men don't, because actually a lot of women, or maybe I'm just have a higher like expectation of
Well,
women.
put it this way.
But like I would really look into a guy's profile and analyze it and then decide if I was going to like them. I think men tend to see like the first picture, like, oh yeah, she's fit, I'll just like her and hope for the best.
There was phases, there was like moods of that. It was how much effort I could be bothered to put into to looking into.
But it's obviously a massive generalization. I just say that I'm not saying all men are doing that.
And I would say all women are doing this. Well, this is my point, is that like a lot of men have that general assumption, but like I'd say, you know, you really cared about what was the messages that were said and like stuff and the notes and all these things and
exactly.
And you liked me.
I did.
Plot twist.
I did.
Because basically the way this we met, this is, I don't know how people are going to see this as a good thing or bad thing. It was a bet on my side, and you just given up hope.
Yeah. I just re-downloaded Hinge for the night because I was bored. After saying for probably the 5th time that I was never going on dating apps again, and this was it. And then 2 days later, was bored, sat on the sofa and feeling lonely, re-downloaded it. But yeah, I think the reason why I like Joe's profile is because it's actually like appealing to the female eye.
Well, I'd just been travelling.
Yeah.
So my photos actually made me look really interesting.
They did.
New stuff.
But also you had like good prompts, like they were thought out prompts.
Oh my god.
Whereas like a lot of guys, their prompts will literally be like the same answer to every prompt. Like they've really not just put any effort in. Like, I don't know, they'll be like, what's your favourite thing to do on a Saturday? Coffee. What do you miss the most when you're asleep? Coffee. What, like, it's like they just put coffee for all of their answers. And
the same can be said for girls though as well. The amount of girls that say they go hiking, there's so many memes where it's like lads hiking and go like spotting all the girls that say they hike every weekend. Just as like no.
Yeah, it's like the same with guys and like
we all do it.
Yeah, performative, like, it's because
performative,
whatever it's called.
Yeah, performative males.
Performative males.
Well, it was performative females as well. But so mine was a bet. So I had a friend. I basically have never really properly tried on dating apps.
Yeah.
Like I've been on them, I've not had much success, so I'd never really properly tried. I'd never been on a dating app ever. I'd matched with girls in Texas and stuff. But I'd never been on like a first proper date on a dating app.
Yeah.
And I said to my friend Sam, I was in a bit of a cocky mood. I was like, I feel like if I actually tried, it wouldn't be that hard. And then as soon as I said that sentence, I regretted it. And he went, bet, if get a date by Friday or run 30k. I genuinely did consider running 30k because girls are scary, as we know. But yeah, then you out of nowhere matched with me. I remember being sat in the office Well, actually, you liked me. I remember standing.
Yeah, no, but I sent you a message. I sent you a message saying, "Shall we run 30k on Friday?" That's. I wish I did though. That would be romantic. But
You weren't running at that point though. That would have been awful. Both
I
of us.
was running at that point. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I wasn't going to the gym because I'd joined that god awful gym, so I was running doing Pilates.
Yeah.
Even my best single Pilates princess life. Anyway,
and
so I messaged you.
Yeah, you messaged me. So my prompt was, I look like your next phase or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you sent me a like with a message saying, I'm looking for a new phase.
Oh, I'd be interested in
starting a new phase.
Yeah,
which is nice. I remember being sat in my office. Not in my office. What? I wish.
CEO.
In the office.
Yeah, this is actually Diary of a CEO.
Yeah, I'm going to say something really controversial. And I remember jumping up from my desk and running over to Sam, like, look at this big girls, what would that be like? And Sam was like, oh my god, what the hell, like a back. And then it was quite smooth. It was instant smooth talking to me. Because I've matched with girls in the past and it takes like a few days for them to reply, or it was just so weird. Like you'd get a match, but you wouldn't believe in it because if it would happen, you would.
Oh, you'd start messaging.
But I was part of that problem as well. Sometimes I get a match and I would never message them. So I'm not blaming.
But that's also like if the conversation was dead or you couldn't think of anything to say.
Oh,
whereas like actually because of your prompt, we then started on a good foot because the conversation we started on was like had some like substance to it. Whereas like if there's any single people out there who are listening to this, out of the 2 people that are listening to this, if you're single, don't send someone a message just going, hey.
Oh my god, no. But
because as the single girl, I would immediately be like, I can't be asked to reply to that. What am I going to say? Hey, how are you? I don't care how you are. I've never met you, so why would I ask you that? You know what I mean? Like it's actually like, if you're, they're obviously not going to turn around and say to you, I'm actually doing really badly. Can you please help me? Like,
well, what I instantly liked is how chatty we were. I'd never matched with a girl who was so chatty straight away, and that actually made me like attracted to you more than like your pictures and stuff like that. But also your pictures, you looked so different in all of them. I couldn't tell what person was going to like show up on this.
Luckily, the hot one. I've had some phases in my life. I decided for whatever reason that my natural hair colour was not the hair colour I was supposed to have.
The fringe was a weird phase.
And yeah, I had decided that I wanted to look like Daisy Jones and the Six and got a fringe, but it just didn't land the same way.
Yeah.
And then I decided to go ginger, then I went blonde, and then now we're back. We're back.
No, it's looking good.
And it's okay, but I have a lot of pictures from the last few years where I don't look like this because I didn't look like this. So.
But we chatted well. Good crack.
We did.
I was in a pub, and you said, "Oh, you got to get this pint at that pub. It's the best pub." I already had that pint in my hand, which is quite sweet. You listed
House Party is the pint, by the way, to recommend.
The Rook and Gaskill.
Yeah, from Lervig Brewery.
You try to get a sponsor from a brewery.
Send me a pint glass, House Party pint glass.
Oh, you're desperate for House Party.
From about 2023 because it was the coolest design then, and I can't find it.
Yeah, and then we find out on the first date. Hit off.
Yeah, that was another thing I wanted to say is get your first date in quick. If the conversation's going well after like one evening of chatting, get a first date planned. Then it takes the pressure off the conversation on Hinge because you know you're going to see each other in person.
Yeah.
And then also, when you see each other in person, you haven't already talked about everything on Hinge.
That's so true. I mean, I've got quite a few female friends, and they've always said that.
Yeah.
So I knew. Plus, I had a deadline to get up there with you.
But also, don't like go straight in there with "let's go for a drink" because that's like a bit like, well, hang on a minute, I haven't actually like. All I know about you is that you like bacon with mayonnaise or something from one of your prompts, and that's about it.
Was that one of my prompts?
No, I just came to it.
Right, okay.
I was receiving
bacon with mayonnaise. That could have been me very easily. No, it's a funny story. We were still outside the pub. Well, I was at the pub waiting for you. I couldn't figure out how to stand.
Yeah.
And then I saw this like really attractive woman from far away, and I was like, God, she's really pretty. Wait, so walking towards me. Oh my God, she's walking towards. Wait, oh, she's my date. Oh God.
And then he didn't know what to do with himself, so I was leaning against the wall with his arms folded.
Look cool. You didn't have a question, did it?
I didn't. I liked it. I was a bit flustered because then we met, had the awkward hug, and then you asked me what I'd done today, and I couldn't remember. So,
Yeah. But yeah, it was a great first date.
Parents gate crashed the date.
Yeah, that's a funny.
Not
story.
my parents.
That's a funny story for another time. So we've been yapping about this for ages now. But yeah, no, it was a lovely first date. So if anything, we were walking out of it for Hinge.
Yeah, well, actually, and to be honest, out of all the dating apps, I'm quite glad it was Hinge because
Oh my god,
if it was Tinder, I don't want to be an advert.
Tinder has such a weird.
I think it had its day.
Oh, big time.
And like, no shade to people who met on Tinder. I mean, props to you, actually, because I think that's probably quite a big achievement if you get a long-term relationship out of Tinder.
Yeah, no, every couple that I know that did meet on a dating app, it's mostly Hinge.
Yeah.
Bumble, never heard Bumble.
Bumble was just difficult. Like, the whole, like, I know I'm all about female empowerment, but the whole women having to message first. Because it's just like, I mean, to be fair, I messaged you first, but some men, it would just be like, I wouldn't know what to say because there's no prompts, or there might be now, but there's no prompt, so I wouldn't know what to like message them about. And then they just wouldn't get my humour and it would just be cringy and embarrassing.
I think the person who made Tinder left Tinder and made Bumble. But I don't think Bumble ever did as well as Tinder. I think
there was a female who came up with Bumble though.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing. I don't know if
she was part of Tinder. Yeah. She left to do Bumble. Yeah.
I'm sorry if that's misinformation.
Yeah. Anyway, so next thing to talk about is our kind of bad experience with dating. I don't have that many. I have one where I matched with a girl and on Tinder, and she was very nice.
Yeah.
But within like 5 messages, she sent me a message saying, "Let's discuss making babies."
Yeah, that's weird.
Basically invited me out for one night stand. I got too scared and said my car was in the garage.
Yeah. And the thing is there are guys out there for her because there was guys that did that to me. So some guys and gals enjoy that baby chat.
Yeah,
in the
it was
first 10
uni time,
minutes.
to be fair.
But I don't enjoy the baby chat. I've had the baby chat. Or like referring to our children, and you've only had one conversation.
Oh, I think so.
Like
no, she was just referring to like, come have sex with me, basically.
Yeah.
I think she just said it in a weird way.
Yeah.
Saying that people have just...
Oh, I've had people refer to our children as if like we're having children together, and I've only been talking to you for 20 minutes.
Jesus,
is that?
That's wild.
Yeah. Like I had some whole thing where we were like exchange, like saying like you pick the question and then I'll pick a question and then like the other person has to answer it kind of thing. And I like said like, what's your favourite childhood memory or something? And then he said his, and then I said mine. And then this was like the 5th message that we sent each other. Then he replied saying, "Can't wait to do that with our children." And I just unmatched him. I was like,
that's wild.
You haven't even met me. I could be like an absolute catfish, and you apparently think you're having kids with me. Like, hang on one second. Let's just hold up.
That's really wild.
Yeah, it was a lot. But that was the thing. It was like, finally, there's a guy who's actually making an effort and replying to me. But then it was like way too much. Like,
his levels in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got many a story to tell.
Go ahead.
Went on a date with someone who had scabies. Never go on a walking date with somebody who's got scabies, a circular walking date with somebody who's got scabies, because if you get halfway round the circle that you're walking, you're kind of stuck with them, and that was a big issue for me. And it was also a coastal walk, so there's only 2 directions. You can go forward or backwards or left, because right was the sea, and I'm obviously not going to go in the sea. But he was scratching around on his hands the whole day, so there was no hand holding.
Yeah, for context, I mean, obviously, so I don't know if you're a doctor.
Yeah.
So you're very aware. Nothing like that can slip by you.
We just lost one of our 2 listeners.
I'm a graphic designer, so they're back. So that's cool.
I'm not going to talk about my job. Don't worry.
No, but like you saw it straight away and you knew exactly.
Yeah, I knew it was scabies.
Isn't it?
I knew it was scabies. I'd seen a lot of scabies. It was like the time of year last year where a lot of people were getting scabies, and I didn't want scabies. And I've never had the most extensive body scrub shower of my life.
He was a soldier, wasn't he? He's in the barracks or whatever. And
So just if you got scabies, make sure you read the information online on the NHS website.
Stop doctoring.
So that you can treat it properly, because it is actually very difficult to treat.
Can I just point something out that you keep looking over there?
Yeah, no, I'm looking.
You're not looking at the camera, but you're looking over there.
Looking at my beautiful flowers I bought from Lidl. Anyway.
One of my favourite stories from you is the fella who was like waving and shouting your name
from distance. Yeah, that was bad. At least you didn't do that.
I just stood up.
You just stood up, or standing up is always better.
Yeah.
Well, no, we were meeting for a coffee, and I was like sat outside of the coffee shop, so I was like sat in a chair, facing the direction that this guy was coming from. Obviously, I didn't know what direction he was going to be coming from. Was hoping he would come from behind. Ooh.
God, you were eager, Jesus.
Walk from behind, but he didn't. He walked from in front of me. And yeah, basically, when he was about 500 meters away, shouted hello and started waving at me. But it was like that whole thing where like I'm not walking towards him, so it was like then a 500-meter walk of him continuing to wave and smile, and me like watching him walk towards me, which was
It's always that long walk.
a really awkward. Yeah,
the day itself was.
He was a nice guy, but it just wasn't for me.
You weren't vibing.
He was like an anorak guy, like a.
Well, to be fair, though, you're saying about coming on quickly. We were saying we were going to get married on our first.
Yeah, we were, but that was because we'd already met at that point and spent like 6 hours with each other by that time.
That's true, and you've met my parents already, so that's off.
But yeah,
yeah.
That was awkward. Then my last story is probably the pint story.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, this is the best story.
This is probably the best.
This is one of those ones that really makes me feel like surely these men don't exist.
Oh, they do.
A bit of this.
So basically, this was like second or third date maybe with this guy, but the other 2 dates had been like coffee daytime dates, so like we hadn't gone to the pub together yet. And as you may have worked out already, I thoroughly enjoy a pint.
Oh yeah.
So when I go to the pub, I'm gonna have a pint. Anyway,
I will always forget
this guy.
When you were in the pub and my dad was meeting you first time, you asked for a white rat. He could not believe it.
A white rat's pint, by the way, not an actual.
Yeah, he could not believe what he was shook. Anyway, carry on.
Anyway, so yeah, went to like Northern Monk tap room in like a street food place in Leeds, and like obviously you go into a tap room. I mean, if you want to get a different drink to a pint, that's fine. But I believe that you should at least try even a half of something if you're in a tap room. So I'm going to get a pint though because I enjoy a pint. Yeah. So I'm there at the bar, just order my pint without even thinking. Turn, look at him, and he's like staring at me, looking like viscerally offended by the fact that I've just ordered a pint. So I said to him, "Oh, is that bothered you?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, why?" And he was like, "Well, I was going to get a frozen cocktail, but I feel like I can't now." And I was like, "Well, you can get whatever you want." And then I was like trying to like make a joke. So I said like, "Oh, is it threatening your masculinity that I'm going to drink a pint?" And he was like, "Yes, actually it is." Deadly serious, not laughing. I was like, "Okay, well, I'm still going to drink my pint, thank you." Anyway, the woman at the bar was then like giving us the drinks, and he then made a point of saying to the woman at the bar, as if like it made him feel better about himself, "Isn't it weird that she's the one drinking the pint and I'm drinking the frozen cocktail?" And she was like, "No."
Yeah, just own it. Just own the fact that you like
fine, absolutely fine.
It's fine that she likes pints. It's insecurity, isn't it?
Yeah. Then we sat opposite each other on this like bench, and every time I took a sip of my pint, he like was like gipping or like looking like he was gonna like throw up at the table because of how revolting and offensive it was for him to see a woman drinking a pint. So I was like, yeah, there's not going to be a fourth date or a third date or whatever date we were on at this point.
I remember finding it really attractive, these giant pints.
Yeah, which I appreciate.
I like a woman that drives, but like,
yeah.
Well, I'm sure you appreciate it after that date.
Yeah.
Because you know, and maybe it's me. It's probably part of me that like assumes that women don't like pints, but it's nice because you know I like pints.
Yeah.
But I found it quite attractive that you drank.
But also, like, I also think it's attractive when a guy gets a cocktail and like cocktails, or like they'll have like a gin and tonic or like a bottle of wine. Yeah. Like equally the other way around, like him ordering a frozen margarita. wouldn't have found that upsetting.
Yeah, you didn't say anything about his
No,
did you?
I wasn't going to be bothered about that at all. I would have been like, oh, that's quite nice. He's like comfortable, in touch with his feminine side.
Yeah, no, crazy.
But also, don't agree with this whole genderizing drinks.
No, it's
You
a
can drink what you
societal
want.
thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and
You're right.
that I don't drink pints just so that guys like me more. I actually drink pints because I do just like drinking pints, and that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's what one of the things that I found really attractive about you is that you just do stuff for you.
Yeah.
You don't do stuff for the show and television. I admit a lot of the things that I'm into probably started off because I thought, oh, girls would find this cool.
Yeah.
Like photography, like drumming, all that kind of stuff. But it is now just because I like doing it.
Yeah, and the thing is you carry on doing the things that you then like.
And you do find me attractive because I do this thing.
Yeah. But like you carry on doing things you like and things you don't like, you stop. Like,
yeah.
I've previously shown more of an interest in football and F1 for the sake of my partner. But actually, I realise I just don't really like those things, and that's okay. So I haven't continued to pretend to like them. Whereas, like, actually drinking pints, I do enjoy drinking pints. I've continued to drink them single or in a relationship or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So funny.
So
how long did you stay that whole night for that date?
Yeah, well, then I was going back to the station, and then we had that whole chat where he was like asking me what I thought of his flat, and I thought I'm never going to see him. So I briefly told him that I thought his flat actually wasn't that impressive.
He was really proud of his flat, wasn't he?
Yeah, he'd been like bigging it up to me, saying he really looks after his space and all of this, and then there was like a carpet of pubes in the bathroom. So he said to me, oh, what did you think of my flat then? And I said, oh, well, I don't really agree with you that you look after your space. And he was like, what? And I was like, well, just because you have candles doesn't mean that you look after your space.
No.
Especially if the candles are burned to the wick and they have a layer of thick dust on top. Anyway. I promise I'm not judgmental.
No, but you're judgmental. Like...
I'm judgmental if someone's going to judge me for drinking a pint. Then I would be.
Yes, that's very fair. But, yeah, I mean, they're really funny.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not all your dates, like your first dates.
I've had other dates.
Yeah.
I think probably the last story maybe to mention, but this is when I was 16, I went on a date. My first ever date. We went to an Italian restaurant, and I was thinking the whole time, like, what do you order at an Italian restaurant on a date? Like, I don't know how to spaghetti.
Date when you're young is wild.
How do you eat it?
You're so insecure about everything else.
Yeah, and then I was like, I don't want to get pizza because do you eat it with your hands or with a knife and fork? Like, I was like, I just don't even know how I eat Italian food anymore. So I decided that I would get lasagna because you could just eat it with a spoon and like you don't have to stress. So I got lasagna. This guy got a pepperoni pizza. Anyway, the pepperoni pizza came and it had like rocket on the top and obviously pepperoni on the top because it's a pepperoni pizza.
Rocket on the fur is quite rogue.
Yeah. Anyway, he scraped off all the pepperoni and the rocket onto the side of the plate, so it was a margarita. Why he didn't just order a margarita, I don't know. And then rolled up the slice, so like one slice, rolled it up, stabbed his fork into it and put the whole piece in his mouth in front of me. So he ate this pizza in 12 bites. And I was like sat there eating my lasagna.
See, I find that quite impressive.
Yeah, now I'd probably find it quite impressive, but on a first date,
no. So if I did that now in front of you,
I'd be like, can I try too? Let's see who can eat.
I think we should try that next time. Maybe he's onto something. Maybe that is actually the best way to eat pizza.
But also, I don't think it was because it was a big mouthful. It was like to the point where, you know, when you like actually think I might choke because like this is coming out the front of my mouth or it's going down the back of my mouth. I can't chew quick enough.
I think tonight we should go to Rudy's and try. And then we'll film it, put it on the internet.
Okay, and I'll get a pint, you get a frozen cocktail.
Yeah. Let's just like live out all these like moments that
That's right.
on this day. I'm sad. I wish I'd experienced this more.
It was exciting.
But like
well, exciting is probably the wrong word. It was fun.
And we're lucky in like a girl. You know, we were supposed to be a him and a her.
Yeah.
I've met any stories of girls.
But yeah, that girl travelling who kissed with her lips like this.
Yeah, that was upsetting. Yeah, that was just. Probably one of the worst. Yeah, it just wasn't a pleasant experience. That was in the middle of a dorm.
Yeah,
there's just other people laid in bed.
Yeah.
When I look back at that, I was just drunk and a little bit.
Yeah, but also if you're going to kiss in front of people in a dorm room, you need to make it a good kiss.
Yeah, it just wasn't. Well, the lights were off.
Yeah,
but noises, you know, just weird.
There wouldn't be much noise if you're kissing like this without your lips out. Very dry.
I look back on that and you know when you like kind of like, you know, like you randomly live in your day and you'll remember something and you cringe a bit.
Yeah.
That is one of those moments.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, you're letting the side down a little bit.
Well,
Maybe I should let you have some freedom on dating apps just so you can go.
Yeah, if you want to go on a date with me and give me a really funny experience, then message us, him and her, on Instagram, or my private account, which is Joseph Weller with an extra E. Where the E is, you can find out.
That's on Instagram, by the way, not OnlyFans.
That'll come later. Anyway, I think the next part of the show will normally be is hopefully when some more people start to listen is quite similar to A Girl's Bathroom.
Yeah. Or many other podcasts do it too.
They do it too, yeah, is sending in your stories or your what's it? Dilemmas, that's the word. And getting a him and a her's opinion on your dilemmas. But right now, obviously, we don't have any of them.
Yeah.
So what I thought we would do is I've got here some BuzzFeed. I didn't even know BuzzFeed still existed.
Yeah.
But BuzzFeed funny first date stories.
Okay.
And I'm just going to hear your opinion on them. I once had a guy over. I met him on Bumble. Bad choice, I know. What's the beef with Bumble?
Yeah, Bumble's just rose.
This is not it. Right. We were sitting on the couch talking and everything started completely normal. It came up that I'm Jewish, and in response he told me he had a really funny Nazi joke.
Not on a first date. No Nazi jokes on first date.
Would you like to just like live in a man's brain?
No Nazi jokes will stop.
Would you ever just want to like live in a man's brain for a day?
I'd love that.
And like just like see the scientific chemistry of and that's a good moment to say that.
Yeah. But immediately you wouldn't. You'd say that and immediately think, whoever fucking said that.
Yeah, but maybe we'll see. I told him I didn't care to hear it, but he told it anyway. Of course he did. I didn't laugh, but politely attempted to change the subject. A few moments later, I stepped into the bathroom to grab some chapstick. When I returned to the living room, he was walking out the front door. What? He was walking out the front door. Okay, I locked it after he left and considered it a win that I didn't have to make up an excuse that forced him to leave. About an hour later, he texted me and said I hurt his feelings because I didn't laugh at his joke. That is that is a complete sign of an insecure man.
Yes, it is. And also, don't make any controversial jokes on a first date.
What?
Especially when you don't know someone.
Playing with fire.
It's just no.
Really playing with fire.
But also controversial jokes anyway. Just you should only really be making them with the loved ones.
Keep with the boys.
Yeah, people who aren't gonna defriend you or abandon you.
No,
because they're in too deep.
He sent me a series of texts and was genuinely looking for an apology from me, but for not laughing at the joke that he made. Joke that made light of a genocide that killed millions.
Yeah.
My ancestors included. I never responded and blocked his number.
Good.
What world is this man living in?
I don't know.
Clearly, that gives the energy that he's like a laddie lad. And that joke lands a lot with his lad mates.
Yeah.
And he thinks he doesn't understand what girls would think of that.
Yeah, he's just really ignorant to how things could be offensive and maybe not just funny.
No. Because to be fair, like me and my lads, there's like jokes go around sometimes.
Yeah, and you're like, that's...
Yeah. But I think just sometimes like culture just gets too far.
I think guys...
Just keep it in that circle.
Yeah, girls don't make controversial jokes very often.
You just say stuff behind each other's backs.
Yeah, but we don't really into making like controversial jokes or innuendos or like... I mean, I have said an innuendo in this podcast, but I just think like, it's
not gonna lie.
Keep them in the boys' chat.
I mean, I saw my friend, who's traveling at the moment. Shout out, because if she listens to this, she'll know who she is. She's been dating for a while on Hinge and stuff like that. And she's got plenty of stories that I bet blow some of yours out the water, and quite a few of my friends as well too. It always tends to be women actually.
Yeah.
Men, hey?
Yeah.
She has a picture of her and a twin as younger. It's quite a creepy photo, and she knows, I think, that. But the like and the comment that went with the like was like an Epstein joke,
Oh.
like something, or like, oh, I don't want to end up in the Epstein file or something like that.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
That is the same vein where it's
What
like
are
large
you
humor,
doing?
thinking it will land with a girl.
Yeah, no.
Hilarious. It's so
No.
funny to just think that a man think that
Yeah.
that would
No,
work.
thank you. Yeah.
But he looked like a decently looking fella.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
oh my God,
No.
just wild.
No.
Have you ever had like a like with a really rogue message attached to it?
Yeah. I had that guy who messaged me and said I need a doctor, and I said why, and he said sore penis, full stop, and I said, oh no, sorry, we haven't covered that yet at medical school because I was still in
That's a good
medical
line
school.
for me, to be fair.
I have some great lines. Anyway, then he was like, oh damn, any suggestions of what I can do for it? And I said, put some deep heat on it. And that was that.
That's hilarious. Anyway, I went on a date with someone I met from Bumble. We made a date to meet at some coffee shop. I don't eat at this coffee shop, so I asked him what kind of coffee he recommended. He asked if I would be okay with getting breakfast there and going back to his house for coffee. He said he needed help writing a cover letter for jobs, which I didn't mind helping with. What? How's that romantic?
This is the first date?
First date, yeah.
Right. Did they meet on LinkedIn?
I was like, I'm really happy to announce that I'm going on a date to a coffee shop with a man. I hope to help him with his cover letters. All the comments are like, "Oh, congratulations! It's really great to hear that." You got a car. Your lucky star's not LinkedIn.
Yeah, I do. I appreciate that about my
awful.
job.
Anyway,
yeah.
When we get to his place, he makes coffee, then sits at his computer and applies for jobs. I was so bored. I texted my friend and asked her to call me and make an excuse to get me out.
I'd just get out. I'd just say you're clearly very busy with your cover letters. I'm gonna go. Sorry.
I just don't understand why, as a man, you think that's like gonna work. Or you just have a fun time. How's that like a fun time for both of you?
You know, well, was he trying to get rid of her probably, and she?
But then just don't invite her back to yours for the cover.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll just cancel the day because I've got to apply for a job.
No.
I'm judging him.
Yeah.
In the way of thinking that that's gonna do anything.
No.
Like, look at me, I'm applying for jobs.
Yeah, probably.
Do you have a job? Okay. Okay, anyway. I matched with a really cool, nice-looking guy on Tinder, and we really hit it off. We had a lot in common, and had a great conversation. After talking pretty much non-stop for an entire day, he dropped the bomb. This is good so far. I mean, like we talked non-stop the whole day, and then it suddenly ended up like 2:00.
Yeah.
What do you think the bomb's going to be? If
he's married.
To be fair, that's a good bomb.
Yeah.
Okay. I was devastated. He's in a relationship. Oh, you called it. Why go on a date? Yeah. Anyway.
He wants an extra thing on the side. A sad date.
Anyway, then he had the balls to be all sad puppy dog like. Well, I guess you're not interested in anymore. No shit, I'm not interested anymore. What the hell are you doing on Tinder if you're in a relationship? Just grow a pair and break up already. I'm not going to be a homewrecker.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of reasons why he could be on Tinder. He could just be, number one reason, probably most likely reason, he's just an idiot. He's in a relationship, he's too scared to end it. He wants his cake and eats it because he wants to have the security and the sex on top of a relationship.
He wants to have something ready.
Also the excitement of the single life and dating and meeting new girls. Or he's in a relationship and they're looking for a third person. That's a different story. But it sounds like it was probably the first option. But,
yeah,
yeah, I'm not sure about that. It's obviously a big red flag.
I mean, sorry, I'm just going to get my glasses because I'm struggling to read these things. What would you, if you went on a first date, is there any way that if he told you that he was in a relationship that you would be like, okay, maybe I could just do this for a bit of fun?
Yeah, if his girlfriend was hot.
Hell yeah.
No. Yes, no.
Yeah. Just try and get with her.
No, if someone was in a relationship and they were looking for a third person, then that would be less of an issue, but I probably wouldn't be interested.
If it's an open relationship.
Yeah, or an open relationship. But if they're in a relationship and they're on going to the point of being on Tinder as well, you're not just like meeting someone at work and you fancy them. You're actually going on and making the effort to start a profile on a dating app. It's just a bit gross. Like, fair enough if you like become friends with someone at work and you get a bit flirty and you start to realise you might like them, but even then you need to break up with your girlfriend before you start going on dates with this other person. But going to the efforts of like setting up a dating app, you're like actively going out of your way to cheat on your girlfriend.
I always think about this. Why would someone do that? Because surely this girl has friends in the same city who are probably single. You're gonna pop up.
Oh yeah, well we used to have that at uni. There would be guys who were in relationships in our year at uni, and then like single people would see them on Tinder.
Yeah, wild. I don't know why you'd ever.
And then they'd just be like, "Oh, I forgot to delete it." Oh, oh yeah, but one of your pictures was taken last week on the night out that we went on.
There is that funny story of when you admitted to me where you saw that I changed one of my Hinge pictures
after our first
date, and you were really
to like this hot flexing picture in the gym, and I was like, "What's he trying to do?"
I don't know what. Yeah, I'm no answer for that. I was gonna say for you, but you've already imagined.
I've been on a date with you.
Yeah, I don't know. I was keeping my options open, and then we went to the pub the next few days. I told you that I deleted Hinge, and
yeah,
you really liked that.
Joe deleted Hinge before me, so that was a first for a lot of.
That's the one thing I did first.
I've had.
You messaged me first, and you asked me out to be your boyfriend. The one thing I did was delete Hinge first.
Yeah.
So I win.
That's fine, and he'll ask me to marry him, so that's fine too.
Oh, you wish. This one looks like quite a long one. So
also, can I just say from that last one, we do have friends who are in a couple, and they decided they've been together a long time to both get dating apps just to see what it would be like having dating apps. But they both knew they both had dating apps, and it wasn't actually to go on dates. It was just to like see like
I think they're playing a point
liking who.
Yeah, because some.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't say, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That was bad. Bleep. Beep, beep, beep.
It was like to make a point of an ad, basically. And to be fair, within the hour, she had on like the Tinder thing like 99 plus likes, and then he had maybe 7 or something like that. There was a really funny video where these like lads put onto Tinder just a picture of a cupboard, one set as female, one set as male. And it's like the male has no likes and the female has 100.
That's what I mean about guys literally going through and just liking people rather than actually like thinking about it.
Yeah.
Just liking, not even looking at what you're liking. So you liked cupboard. Cool.
Yeah. To be fair, when I was really fed up and like miserable after like breaking up with one of my exes,
you liked cupboard.
I would just I would just be there and I'd just go.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Well, there's just something about getting a match. You're like, yeah. Yeah,
I need to be inside a man's brain to understand that.
Yeah, it's just because we don't get much affection in society.
Oh, don't start. Oh, I could easily get invited on a yacht for free, but you would have to work for it.
Yeah.
Boo-hoo.
Big up the Manosphere.
What if I don't want to get on a yacht for free?
Basically, just be gay if you're a man.
Right.
That's what the Manosphere kind of told me.
Anyway,
getting sidetracked. Probably going to call that out. I matched with a guy with whom I developed a deep emotional connection really quick. Right. We met and everything was amazing. The perfect guy for me. Suddenly he asked me to move to Florida with him after only a week of talking. Jesus.
Say no.
I mean, we're now a solid relationship. If I had asked you...
Oh, yeah.
Well, you'd go, that's what you think. If I had asked you to move to Newcastle with me, would you have?
What, after a week?
After a month?
No, because I wouldn't have been able to.
Oh, a fake relationship. How dare you?
I would no, I'll have to do slightly long distance. It's literally like an hour on the train.
Yeah, it's fine.
And also, absolutely not. Would not move for anyone after a month.
No. Well, this is after weeks of talking. You'd be happy to know that she declined. So when I declined, he decided not to go because he wanted to see where things would go with us. That's nice.
Oh, nice guy.
Committed. Yeah. He can look at that in a bad way or good way, but quite equally. So I'm that's fine. Red flag number 1. Oh God. We moved on from that. Oh, she found that as a red flag.
What?
That he didn't move.
Oh.
Yeah, it says, when I declined, he decided not to go because he wanted to see where things would go with us.
Oh.
Red flag number 1. We moved on from that. And then a week later, he started calling me up drunk, saying I was too good for him and I deserved better. Just out of nowhere. When I pressed him for an answer about why he was feeling this way, he wouldn't admit it and kept dodging questions. Ultimately, though, he finally admitted to me that he was selling heroin. and had no way out. Talk about the shock of a lifetime. I cut all contact and told him to never talk to me again.
What, so his only way out was to go to Florida, but then love got in the way?
I would say from him, that's like he really loved her. Because he sacrificed being, his
Good
way out
deals.
was... No, his way out was going to Florida by the sounds of it. Or maybe you're right, he had just better drug dealing opportunity in Florida. And he sacrificed all that for her.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just a bit of a strange story. I mean, I going back to the whole him not moving for her, I think that if they are prepared to do that and have like good prospects staying just as much as they had leaving, that's fair. That's their decision to make, especially if you're not being like, you have to stay for me, because obviously that makes it toxic.
Yeah.
But if they're making that own decision to stay and that's what they have decided they now want to do, then that is absolutely fine. And if it's not just for you, if it's also for other reasons, again, that makes it a healthier decision. But I don't think it's a red flag that he chose to stay. It's a red flag that was heroin, but it's not a red flag.
I think it's a red flag about heroin either. He's probably quite rich.
Yeah.
Is heroin an expensive drug?
Yeah.
I feel like cocaine is
I said that like I know. I definitely don't know. I've never bought it.
Sure thing.
I definitely have.
Fair, they make a lot of money in Breaking Bad, so...
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll make this our last one.
Right.
I was talking to a guy once, and it was going well, until he confessed to me that he was expecting a baby with his ex.
Oh.
Ooh, okay.
That's hard.
That is hard.
That's a hard
decision. It's an ex, and like, it could have been a last-minute mistake, and...
But also, like,
divorce and...
do you want to be with someone who's, like, getting into that sticky situation in the first place?
Depends. Yeah,
because you got into the fact that she's pregnant. Did she decide to keep the baby when you were still together, and then you've broken up with her, or the relationship has ended since her being pregnant? That's maybe a bit of a red flag. Or did you break up and then she told you she was pregnant, which could be more like on her side of things, a bit toxic and strange. It's very hard to know that, but also it would make me a bit wary, because I would be like, oh, and you're getting into a lot of difficult interactions with ex and baby, and
sounds messy.
Yeah, it does sound messy. Do you want to get yourself into that sort of level of stress? Maybe not, unless you really, really like this man.
Well, it says here that, and he needed me to be okay with that, which I was not. I didn't really know him, so taking so much responsibility so early in a potential relationship wasn't going to work for me. Okay, that's so fair. That's so fair.
And it's good that he told that early on as well, to be fair to him.
Yeah. I wished him the best and moved on. Okay. Plot twist. My now husband was expecting a child with his ex when we started dating. I didn't find out until a month before she was born. We have been together for 8 years, married for almost 4, and his little girl is my princess. So what?
So she said no to the first guy.
Only because she knew.
But then
the second guy didn't admit it. She didn't admit it until a week before.
I mean, fine, it's a complicated situation. I can see why you might hold that topic of conversation off. But also, it would bother me a little bit that he didn't sort of keep you fully informed from the beginning about that. But clearly it seems to have worked. So, fair. But yeah, that is just a complicated scenario to be in, that, isn't it? You need to know. It's like on Married at First Sight at the minute. There's a woman who's got a kid and she's been matched with this guy, and he's been all along saying that like he's happy that she's got a kid and he doesn't mind that and all this.
Yeah.
What's hers is his and everything. And then his like application clips, he like is making jokes about how like he really wouldn't want to be with someone who has a kid unless the kid was grown up and he didn't have to pay their school fees. And she's like devastated. And like that is like a bit.
Yeah.
But also, fair enough, he doesn't want to be with someone who's got a kid, but then he maybe should have said that from the beginning to her rather than pretend he was okay with it when he obviously wasn't originally. But anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll do one more because that one was a bit boring.
Okay.
I met with a guy on Tinder and it seemed to be going okay. We went back to his apartment for drinks. So, I mean, we did that. That's a perfectly normal thing to do. I think that's always a good sign. If you get invited back for drinks, it means like you want it to keep going.
Yeah, you don't want it to end.
So you think it's going in the right direction. If I invited you back to my flat, what are you expecting to happen though? Even if I invite you back just for drinks?
Further conversation.
And that's it. Okay.
Yep.
As a man, I would be thinking if I invited you back to mine and you said yes, I would in my mind be thinking it's just a talk. No, it's just talk stuff. But I mean, that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, it's a first date.
I think I might be thinking, okay, we're in a bit more of a private situation. We might have a snog. But, like, I wouldn't be thinking he is inviting me back because he definitely wants to sleep with me.
Anyway, where was it? For drinks. And he excused himself for a moment. Then returned to the living room, fully naked.
Oh no! It's like in Friends. That guy, what's he called? There's a guy who like it just strips off.
Oh, the Spanish man or something like that. Oh, maybe. Oh, okay.
There's a guy who like strips off and like she comes back from the toilet and he's naked on the sofa like posing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
How would you react to that?
I'd be
See,
like,
as a man,
what the fuck are you doing?
If I got invited back to a girl's and that happened,
yeah,
it would be the best moment of my life.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's probably why he's doing it. But depends on the context.
I feel like it doesn't hit.
If I'm really enjoying this conversation, and like we've just been really heavily flirting or something, and hinting towards the fact that maybe things are going to go a bit further, and then he comes back from the bathroom like that, maybe.
I don't.
If I've been talking about the fact that I think I like my bacon to be crispy when I cook it, and then he comes back from the toilet and he's like completely naked, and I'm thinking about what I'm having for breakfast tomorrow, then that's like, no, we're not.
You're not on the same wavelength.
We're not on the same wavelength.
Well, I think if I put it this way, like if you came back in the room and you had like a waistcoat on, and like you took it off and you're naked underneath. Oh my god, this is heaven.
A waistcoat?
Do I mean waistcoat? No, trench coat.
Go.
Trench coat, something like that. Yeah. But oh my god, this is the best moment of my life. Yeah.
Stop that.
I would be like, this is the best incredible thing.
My boots.
Oh my god, stop. Now I'm getting the ick.
Okay.
If you did that, nothing would happen. I'd be like, oh my god, this is the best moment of my life. I can't believe this is happening to me. This is like in movies and stuff. Yeah. And then if I picture myself as a woman, and a man did that, I just feel like I'm getting flashed.
Yeah.
It just doesn't hit the same.
It doesn't. Well, that's because women's bodies are just better.
Yeah. I can definitely agree with that. My God, I can definitely agree with that.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it depends on the context, but also most of the time that's not going to hit.
Yeah.
And also first date vibes, it's a bit much. Like it's a bit bold. Like I wouldn't be doing that.
Man must be very confident.
With boyfriend and girlfriend, really.
No, I mean, a confident woman. The most attractive feature about any woman is if they're confident.
Yeah.
You could be like looks wise, like a 5 out of 10, but if you're really confident, you're like a 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
So that would be like really hot.
Yeah, but like on a first date, I just think it's a bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's excessive.
Yeah.
Like you want to be like being a bit mysterious and like.
Yeah, you do.
You don't want to be.
You want to make them come back, don't you?
To come back round to mine, go to a loo, come out naked, and then they haven't even had to take clothes off or anything. There's something quite nice about the mysteriousness of like being a bit slower about seeing each other naked. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, I think what it is in my mind is like the like Hollywood of it makes you want to think that sounds great. But if I think about it like logically about the actual reality, long term, if I wanted to date this girl, I don't know if that would land or not.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's more of like a
that's how you've been together for like
vibe.
Yeah.
If you're doing that early on, or you're doing that when you've been together for a while, a bit longer than just as first date.
Yeah. Anyway, if you want us to talk about your situation or your story and hear our opinions of it, then please send it in and messages on him and her on Instagram. With that, that's probably the end of our first episode. Yeah. I think we tried to keep it an hour, but I do generally think it's been longer than an hour.
Yeah, but we just like the sound of our own voice.
We do, but went well. We didn't have any awkward silences.
No,
we was on it for ages. I've enjoyed this.
Yeah, me too.
So
let's do it again.
Let's do it again. Well, you're the one who does have to edit everything, like I do.
Yeah, I sit here.
You're the little star.
I sit here and doom scroll while he sets it all up, and then I just chat.
Yeah, then I edit it all and make all the clips and everything. So I'll take more of a cut.
Yeah.
From the no money we'll make.
Yeah.
Anyway, so please follow us on Instagram at him and her, TikTok at him and her.
Yeah.
Which I haven't set up yet, so it might not do him and her, but
it might not be on TikTok yet.
You can follow our personal accounts at Joseph Weller with an extra E and Annabelle Steele with an extra E.
Yeah.
They have no posts on it because we've set up public accounts for this because we think we're cool and going to be famous. But why not give it a try, eh? Thank you so much for listening, and if you watched us sat on a sofa and you thought that was insane, thank you so much for watching.
If we just blew your mind.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see you. Oh, subscribe to the YouTube channel, him and her.
Yeah.
Tell us my first time doing this, can't you?
Basically, just look up him and her on all social media.
Spell exactly how it sounds.
Streaming platforms.
Yeah.
And if we come up, follow us. If we don't exist on there yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. Very nice. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.